Hey, this is Wild Thing Live and in your face, and today we're going to talk about why the bass fishing industry keeps going up and up and up and up. Inflation is part of it. The demand is part of it. People are willing to spend more as part of it. All of that is part of it, but it's ridiculous. It's gotten totally out of control. And the problem is, there's not really a good answer for it because as long as people are willing to buy $200,000 bass boats, people will continue to sell them for $200,000. It never ceases to amaze me how it keeps going up and up too. And at a time when live scopes are $4,000 now, and tournament kayaks are 10 grand after you trip them out, and bass boats are 200 grand, and rods or lures are even more, it comes to a point where it just gets to be ridiculous. The other day I was promoting a crankbait that was $23. Mind you, a crankbait that most people couldn't afford because if you bought 5 of them, that'd be over $100. Really good crankbait, caught a fish with it on live. Still had to explain to people why it was $23. Now, bass fishing has always been expensive. We know this. But at what point do we say enough is enough? And now that I'm done with my walk on this beautiful, nice day, well, I wanted to shoot some of this video outside because it's beautiful and nice. But anyway, I'm going to show you some of this ridiculousness in a catalog that I can't show you, but I will tell you some of the prices. So let's get into this catalog and talk about some of these prices because they're outrageous, right? Now, I can't show you the catalog, obviously, but I'm going to go over just some of these. Now, John boat's $700 for a John boat with no engine and no motor. We have bass boats. These are just middle of the road ones. One brand, $45,000. Another one, $91,000. Another one, $71,000. Another one, $92,000. And another one for just the John boats with no engines, anywhere between $1,200 and $2,000. Now shoes. Some of the shoes are $200. The clothes are $50 to $200, $300 depending on what you're fishing for. $400 fishing combo. $400 reel. Now we're into the digital reels. The digital reels are going to be outrageous, right? $400. Oh, there's one for $500. We all know which one that one is. I have plastic bait casting reels, middle of the road, some of them $200. What are we doing? Spinning reels that are $300. Do you need those to catch fish? No. We've talked about that before. Some brands will help you on efficiency because you won't, lose as many fish, and they may work better and help better presentation. But if you're not tournament fishing, do not buy $300 reels. There's no purpose. All right, here we go. We'll have money on the line. Crankbaits, $10. Jerkbaits, $15 a pop. You're going to tell me these are 5 different brands, all $15 plus. So why is it that 5 different brands that use 5 different suppliers to paint their jerkbaits, hooks that are all made by different companies, suddenly cost that much money? Well, I'll tell you why. Because a lot of these lure companies use the same manufacturers. That's right. They just send off their molds and models to these manufacturers and have them print them. So again, I just looked at 5 jerkbaits. It's going to total you over $75 for 5 jerkbaits. And some of those jerkbait companies were middle of the road and not as good quality jerkbaits, and they were $16, $17. What are we doing? This is ridiculous. So when we talk about on my channel, why do you fish from the bank unless you can afford to? Bass are on the banks 75% of the time of the year. You wasted all this money for this. It's just showing what a bad fisherman you are. And I'm not trying to be mean. You spend your money on however you want to, but you're wasting money for things. This isn't like catfish that can be out in the middle of the river. Okay, most of the year, we've talked about thermocline on my channel before. If you follow me on other platforms, most of the year, bass are not way out in the middle. The ones that are out there are harder to catch anyway. Why would you want to do that? Right? You can catch the ones off the bank next to a dock. you can catch the ones underneath the lily pad. You don't need a $200,000 bass boat to do that. So keep that in mind. Now, how do we get kids into fishing to get priced out of tournaments? We've destroyed tournament fishing. The tournaments, which is going to be in my next video, by the way, the tournaments are just cutting out price pools more and more and more. The kids can't afford the bass boats unless mommy and daddy buy it for them. And even they can't really afford it, but they're doing it to help out their kids, which is what they should do, because they want to see their kids succeed in the sport. But not all of those kids are going to succeed, and then you're just going to have more debt that we didn't need in society. So what are we thinking? Like, what are these companies? I want to know what these companies are thinking, right? Because I've worked in retail for 25 years. I'm paying, I know inflation is a thing, right? And it goes up every year about 2.6 to 3.3%. Right now, I think it's at 4%. But we are living in a society that is okay with this. We are living in a society that says, yes, I am perfectly acceptable and okay with paying $300 for a raincoat, even if the raincoat barely works. What are we doing? The other day, I bought covers for my girlfriend's carpet floor on her truck, and we got some for like 30 or 40 bucks that were on sale, and I thought I got a deal. Rubber mats. Granted, they were mossy oak, they were really nice, and I thought I got a deal. But this is crazy. Like, how did these kids ever get into a sport that we grew up doing? Like, back in the day, it was hard to get even a used boat, but it wasn't like this. There was no way anybody would be tournament fishing if there was. So I don't know what to tell these companies, and I'm from the home of a major fishing company. Everybody knows. But how do we get around this? Do we just accept it? Do we just say, you know what? This is just the industry now wild thing. We just have to accept it and either go or don't go. I can't even imagine how the hunters do it. What oil fields do they own? Have you seen the prices of hunting lately? That's another video. But this is crazy. And I don't know what to tell people when I go to sell them $23 crankbaits. We talked about that earlier. I don't know what to tell people when I say, yeah, this tackle bag is really good for $80. And it is a good tackle bag when I'm promoting it. But $80 for a tackle bag? What are we doing? Right? So, again, that's not even the highest end one. There are higher ones than that. Tackle boxes, crankbait boxes now, $30, $40. What are we doing? Because you're not going to want to damage your $23 crankbaits. Because the real crankbaits cost that kind of money. You know, $15, $20. The ones that really catch fish. The generic ones will get you by, but they're not balsa. The ones that aren't balsa wood are not as effective. So you got to spend the money. What do you do? Especially if you're tournament fish, you got to spend the money. And this isn't sour grapes. I actually believe the companies should charge what they think things are worth and make money. I'm not hating on people making more money if they do that. But what are we doing when multi-billion-dollar companies are paying these people $16 an hour and we're paying $300 for a fishing reel and $91,000 for a bass boat? What are we doing? Just saying. Just trying to understand. I got coffee in there from that same company that sells coffee. I think my coffee for my Keurig is $15. What are we doing? So how does this get fixed? The only way this gets fixed is if people stop buying this stuff, right? Stop buying the $200,000 bass boats. Stop buying the $4,000 live scopes. Stop buying the 24-inch screens. Stop buying the 7-stroke engines that they're starting to come out, 6-stroke, 8-stroke engines. You don't need all that. Get yourself a cheap kayak and float out there. You'll be just fine. You'll catch plenty of fish. Go fish from the bank. Catch the bass. Enjoy it. Find the fish. That's the fun part. Catching the fish is the easy part. The fun part is hunting for the fish, right? Then that used to be a thing. We used to go out. We just go look for the fish. Be like, there's where the fish is. Bob, I think there's where the fish is. We're going to fish right there. We're going to get those fish. That was the whole fun of it. We not only destroyed it financially, but now we've destroyed it by letting people enjoy the fun of it. Look at the screen. And I know live scope. I used to tournament fish, guys. Live scope is harder than people think. But do we need to keep doing this? Is this where the sport is? It's a shame. So I challenge all of our manufacturers to find cheaper ways to do this. And I challenge all the people in the sport, do not keep giving these people your money so that we can get this back under control, because this is ridiculous, right? Jackets, $200. Fishing shirts, $50. I get some cheap fishing shirts because I know where to get them. But if you didn't know that, if you were new to the sport of fishing, and that's what I'm saying, for us old folks, we know how to go get cheap fishing gear. We know where to go for our boat. We know where to go for all that stuff. But for these kids that are learning, or these parents that are trying to get their kids into fishing, and don't worry, I'm going to put out videos on where to go for you guys new to fishing to get stuff. But what do we do? What are we talking about? How are we going to explain this to future generations when all the live scopes have destroyed our fisheries and there's droughts and you can't go fishing in half these lakes? And we've priced them out too. Talk about just destroying it on all ends. Anyway, this video is long enough. Let me know in the comments what you think we should do. And I want to know you guys' opinion on this. As always, this is Wild Thing Live in At Your Face.